Hey everyone, I'm sure many of you out there have fond memories of your junior bowling journey. I know I do. But in the modern junior bowling journey, it's more about how to prepare our juniors for the next levels, for competing in tournaments, maybe even going on to a high school team or a college program or beyond, and how to best get our juniors ready for those varied levels of competition. Fortunately, we have a USBC Silver certified coach here today on Hot Topics to kind of simplify that process a little bit, as he's got lots of experience with that in his training center in Washington State. My name is Andrew Pfeffer. I am the creator, producer, and host of Bowling with the Pfeff, and this is Hot Topics. And Dean Buchanan is with us from the Off-Broadway Bowling Academy, which is a training center near Seattle. You can find them at theobba.org online, or email them at dean@theobba.org. Dean, we are talking about youth bowling and some of the coaching issues that kind of go along with that today. Can you tell us some of the biggest issues that youth bowlers face in their journey, and maybe their parents too, and some of the solutions that they should maybe think about as their youth bowlers grow in the sport and get more skilled?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I like to group kind of both of those together, the parents and the kids first. It takes that team. Period. If they want to be successful, my experience with the kids that have been successful out of this training facility, not that some of them are not successful, but successful meaning they've made it on to college, or they've made it to the next level of where they want to go, or they've even made it to the high school team because they were in middle school or younger, and they've made it to that team. I've seen the common thread is the parents. How much involvement the parents have in that child's development and what they're doing. So that's the essence of your question, I believe. What are the challenges of it? And first, be bought in to being there and being present. And once you find a coach, communicating with that coach and understanding what a good plan is. Once you've developed what it is you want to do. What does the child want to do? If they're super young, then they just want to get into it and learn. But if a lot of them come to me and they're in high school, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, and they say, hey, I really want to go to college. Okay, now it's time to buckle down a little bit and start talking about what do we do over the next year or two to get you ready, and where do you want to go? And I always phrase it as, first, where do you want to go academically? Because it's, you hear the student athlete, I support that 100%. So where do you want to go academically? What is your plan for school? Then we can gauge it around that. Well, I only want to bowl. Okay, I get that. But do you want to become a better bowler after college? Do you want to go to college just for school and have bowling pay for it? Because a lot of kids out there do that, and it's great. They still provide a service to the college of bowling for them and helping them win. But in the meantime, they're really focused on their school and they want to get better at that, or not get better at that, but complete that and move on with their career. So the communication between the parents and the child first of what they want, because I've seen that kind of be an issue of they haven't really communicated what they want and how they want it. So that's kind of an issue there. And I try to help bring that out. Okay, while we're sitting here, especially in the first few times they come, what is it you want? And try to have the kid communicate that, because it's hard for kids to communicate to their parents what they want and why they want it and how they want it and what they want to do. So once we get to that point, that's the first issue to deal with. What do you want to do? And then the next issues are, the parents still need to be bought in and understand what it takes for the kid to get to where they want to get to, especially if they want to get to the next level. What kind of understanding and training is it going to take? And that relates to, I always hate to go back to it, but it does. It relates to the parents sitting there going, wow, this is going to cost me a lot of money, potentially, if they want to get better. And you start talking about, well, equipment over a period of time, you start talking about equipment and tournaments and this and travel. And as long as they know going in a little bit, that's easier. But if they don't, it's still relatively a low cost sport compared to a lot of other sports. We know that.
Yep.
but you do have to make an investment. So those are the couple of the first issues that I see, is the communication and the understanding, make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, for sure. And you have kind of a variety of parents that have kids interested in bowling. I've come across parents who are competitive bowlers themselves. The child kind of follows in the footsteps of mom or dad or both. And then you have parents that have never touched a bowling ball in their lives. They're learning from Junior about the finer points of the sport as Junior is growing with it. Do you think there are different challenges there in getting mom and dad on board in those two situations?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I haven't had the I don't know if it would be luxury, or I haven't had the opportunity to deal with mom and dad like on a medium to higher level. Like you look at some of the colleges, especially you got Vanderbilt's and the top 5 that have the kids of the Hall of Famers. Mm-hmm. I look at that, but to get back to your first point of, you got mom and dad who've been bowlers. Well, you look at those households and think, okay, well, this kid's a great bowler because that's all they've been exposed to is great bowling. And the expectation that if you're going to bowl, here's how you're going to act. Here's how you're going to be on the lanes. Here's how you're going to bowl. And we're not going to settle for second best. That doesn't even have to be said, I think, in those households. They just look at their parents and go, wow, they're great bowlers. And they look at the Bones, Parker Bone and that family. What a wonderful situation that is for their kids. But when it gets to the bowlers that their parents never bowled, they don't understand bowling. Yes, there's an issue, or there's a challenge with both of those types of families. I've had the families that do bowl that aren't the Hall of Famers, obviously, and have the kids that bowl. It's somewhat easier sometimes when I start talking about something and you see their heads start shaking, like, yep, because they get it. And then I look over at them and say, hey, if you could help, understand that this is what it takes. And they go, yep, I got that. I understand that. But then it's the new bowlers. Those are the ones that I really try to sit down and say, okay, here's really what it's going to take. And I'll take a step back and say that it's a matter of, you got to gain the respect between coach and family and youth, to where they know that when you tell them something, it's not because you're trying to make a buck. You're trying to do something that maybe might not work. You're doing the best you can. I have a commitment to do the best I can for that family. And when I tell them, hey, you want to get your kid into JBT tournaments and you want to get your kid into this and that, well, they've got one ball. They need 2, 3, 4 balls, and we need to work for several times and understand now, how do I use these bowling balls? And if you don't have a good relationship and you don't have the respect of those parents and of that student, they'll look at you cross-eyed and go, what, 3 bowling balls? What are you talking about? 3 or 4? Yeah, well, tournaments check in 5 and 6 and more. People bring, if they don't have a limit, people bring more than that. And they think, oh, you're just trying to sell me bowling balls. No, I'm not. I'm trying to do the best I can for you. So back it up to establish your relationship first as a coach with that youth and the parents. So they trust you with their kid. They trust you with your information that you're giving them.
Yeah. Take us a little deeper in that. We are an instant gratification society, right? We want to make all the changes right now. We want to have the best equipment right now, and we want to go to that JBT and win right now. It doesn't happen like that.
Okay.
You've got to make little changes and grow your game over time. You've got to build your arsenal over time, figure out what works, go to the JBTs, take your lumps before you figure out how to perform better and eventually how to win. How do you, as the coach, explain that to the parents and, more importantly, to the juniors?
More importantly, to the junior. That's right. From day one, I try to set the expectation that the opposite of what you just said, it's going to take some work.
Yeah.
Understand where you want to go with this. And as we work in here, even if you get to the point, and I'll give them some scenarios too, even if you get to the point, when you get to the point where you can execute here in the training center and do some of the things that we want to do to that bowling ball to make it shape on the lane, we get to that level. it still is a huge challenge to take that mentality and that skill level, because we're building skills in the training center. That's what we do. We're building skills in the subconscious brain of how to manipulate a bowling ball, how to get from A to B on the approach and all that stuff. But now taking that out into a competitive environment, that's one level above that. And you got to be able to get in that same frame of mind. But it's almost impossible, especially in the first time. Like you said, I want to go out and win. I'm good. I can kill any pattern in your bowling center. This is great. I can do it. No, when you get, especially when they go to their first junior gold and their eyeballs go, what do I do? Then everything goes out the window. Right? They can't remember how to bowl. They can get through the approach, but they can't remember anything that they've practiced, that they've done. So I try to tell them we got to focus on the process, because when you start to see the process, meaning where you set up, how you stand, where you stand, and then getting from your starting position to the foul line, and that process that it takes to get the ball off your hand, we got to focus on that and not pinfall. Kids want to focus on pinfall. Oh, I got a strike. Yeah, but it's not what we wanted. I tell them we need to focus on that process so much and not worry about anything else. Just look at what the shot, the result of the shot, come back, get used to sitting down, thinking about what changes are required to get back up there and do it again. Because when you get to an environment where there's so many things outside of your control, you're going to mess up. You're going to have some bad shots, and you need to understand, well, I need to get back to that process. I need to sit down. I need to mellow myself out and get up there and do it again, and make sure that I focus only on the process. And in any sport, it's like the process creates the results. Too many times we see people focusing on results, and you're not successful when you do that.
Yeah, for sure. Great advice for both juniors and parents. Again, Dean is at the Off-Broadway Bowling Academy near Seattle. You can find them at theobba.org or email dean@theobba.org. And if you're looking for more information on IPSIA, just go to our website, ipsia.com. You can find out all the benefits for membership and much, much more. And if you like what you saw here today, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's free, it's easy, and it really does help us continue to make great bowling content.